Um, Hi, we've got Professor Plum here. Um, do you go by Plum or Professor, or do you have a real name that you use?
Yeah, no, you can whatever. Plum, Professor, Wayland, whichever. I don't
Okay,
care.
cool. And then me, Bash Ninja. We're just gonna do another underground hallway talk. Uh, we were talking right before we started. You said you knew about what the underground talks were like, right?
The underground ones were new to me before
Okay,
you mentioned.
so they're new. So I'll give you a quick rundown. Basically, we're just gonna talk and have fun. Like I don't know where this is gonna go. We'll see. Maybe we'll talk about um, Utah. Are you a big youth fan?
I am a big Utes fan. Yeah.
So so we used to work together. So you currently work at Stage Two still, right?
Yep.
Yeah. And you contracted with Adobe for a while doing red team.
Hmm.
And I remember we were on the same floor, and I remember you would go over the group and talk sports, and I always felt left out. But then I'd realized that I hate sports, so yeah.
I do miss being on the Adobe floor with you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Big Utes fan though, right? Like
Yes.
Utes fan your whole life, or
No, no. I just went did my undergrads there, and so
oh,
I was there during like the Urban Meyer years, and so it was like good years to be there, and that kind of made me
all
a Ute fan.
right, that makes sense. So you went to school. What did you go to school for?
I couldn't make up my mind, so I did undergrad in both computer engineering and computer science. They're about the same thing, and then ended up doing a master's degree anyway. So dual undergrads paid off nothing. It was not worth it.
Master's degree. What'd you do?
Information assurance at Johns Hopkins.
Information assurance. What does that
Really the lack
mean?
thereof. It's like hacking. It was like reverse engineering and hacking, but
Okay,
like
that's a
no,
lot
they don't
better.
offer degrees in hacking, right? So they're like information assurance when really you're just trying to do the opposite.
Got it. Okay, cool, cool. I had no idea you went to the U, so today I learned. That would
Yeah.
explain the desire to watch it. I still, for the life of me, can't watch football. I mean, I can try, and I understand what's going on. I haven't learned to love like everybody else has.
Uh, this is each their own.
Yeah. Um. Cool. Cool. So sorry, I totally got on a tangent there. First question I want to ask, because I'm super curious. I can see you. You've got this beautiful desk behind you, right? um,
Uh-huh.
there's this thing on the right, my right hand side by your MacBook, right? By your MacBook, there's a
Yes.
breadboard, and there's
Oh.
stuff hanging off of the breadboard.
Oh.
Tell me
Um,
about that. What
okay.
is that?
I'm always working on dumb little projects. I think I could probably show that.
Is that a B-sides thing? I'm wondering.
No, this is not a B-sides thing. This is. I'm trying to think how I can make this visible. So this is something I'm working on. I've ordered a flexible PCB to go. This is my prototype, and I want to drop it to a flex PCB, but I'm just waiting for that to come back in the mail. But let's see if I can get it to even turn on. It's
Okay,
gonna
I
work.
see lights. So
Yes.
so this is okay, I'm excited. Mini
So
badge, maybe?
this no 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 not really that. This is I want to put this inside a face mask, right? Just a set of just a very lightweight little processor run
Wait,
off of coin cell. Yeah, and then
wait.
you can't see it, but
This
those will light up according to the volume is the plan, right? So if I'm tapping on the speaker here, it'll dip, but I don't know, I can't sing, but it lights up according to noise. I'm not
so
very good at
so just
timing.
unplug it and bring it close to the mic so I can take a look.
Okay, I'll do that.
So,
Yeah, it's just all I have here is a let's see,
okay. So,
just a row of LEDs
right, what's
with
that microcontroller?
the microcontroller is an STM8,
Oh,
um, 8L. So it's just gonna sit power, and the reason being is I just didn't want to have a huge old battery on my face.
and the L is for low power, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's way low, like nano amps, right? Like way low. But
So this is
and then
your COVID project.
this is my COVID project. Yeah, I'm just
Wow.
waiting for some flex PCBs to come, and
Hmm.
then I'll solder everything down and try it and shove it in a mask and see if it works. And I don't know.
Is this for the cloth face masks? Is this for Halloween? I know that's coming up soonish.
Yeah, no. I just figured I'd throw it in my cloth face mask. Um, got other plans for Halloween, assuming we actually have a Halloween. But
Oh, geez,
yeah,
yeah. I want to talk about that, but that's really cool. That I haven't seen anything. So I have seen on the DC 801 group. There's a lady. Oh, I'm gonna pronounce her name wrong. Saverna. I can't. Please don't butcher me for saying it wrong, but she's been making these cool face masks, but just out of cloth. But I haven't seen anyone adding electronics to them. Um, I've seen that she in the past has added electronics to like these Disneyland ears. They're just like little LEDs that'll light up. But the fact that yours is based on your voice, that's going to be pretty cool.
if it works,
I mean, it looked like it was working. I saw the it light up as you spoke to it.
yeah, and I don't know. There's a lot, right? Like you gotta have the mic in the right place, and will it stay in the right place, or will it just be a nuisance? I don't know. We'll try it. If it doesn't work, I'm not out it much. It was kind
So
of fun.
the Flex PCB, not many people do Flex PCB, but I heard that there was this badge that was created using a Flex PCB.
Yes, yes. The badge that hasn't been
the
seen yet.
the
It's in a
elusive
box.
badge that has been shown on Twitter, but beyond that, we don't know if it exists.
Yeah, it exists, and it's actually there's news that it's not my story to tell,
Okay,
so I won't.
let's not tell it. Yeah.
But one day, hopefully, we'll see the light of day.
Oh, I'm so excited.
One day soon.
It has been really interesting to watch the way that you work with electronics versus the way that everybody else has been doing it because you were so different. And it's been
Yeah.
almost like a breath of fresh air because low power has been a big push for you on your last few projects, right? Running on these coin cell batteries, um, and flex PCBs. That seems to be something I haven't seen anywhere is people running on coin cells and flexes, at least in the badge life world, and especially not here in Utah. So it's been
I
really
think
cool to watch that.
I think most people don't do that for a good reason. It's not. It's probably not one of my best ideas. Um,
Don't
but
say that.
I
It
really want
looks
to
so
try it.
cool. I really want that B-sides badge just to be cool. Don't ruin my hopes.
I I think it's cool. There's definitely I think I have one of the prototypes that's broken here. I can show it.
All right.
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know why I keep asking people about their electronics projects, but it's just one of those things that really interests me.
Yeah. So that's the badge. It doesn't have the. There's going to be snaps on, and you
Yeah.
can set the snap size to whatever your wrist. And it has a little e-paper display. This one's messed up, so the screen's kind of like freaky. This will
Wonky. Yeah.
happen if you're not gentle with them, and that's pretty much why I think people stay away from flexible anything is because they're very fragile. But yeah, if you're nice to it, I think it'll work. If you're mean to it, it'll definitely break.
So what fab did you use for the B-sides one, that one there?
So I
And
used
your new project showing up,
Okay, so my new one, I'm going with OSH Park because I only need like 3 pieces, right? And so they're great for small orders.
Mm-hmm.
Um, B-sides, I usually always go out of China just because the price is so much cheaper. And B-sides just isn't one of these large, right? We're small, little homegrown operation, so we don't have money to
Profit
go.
margins are super important on those badges. Yeah. I guess
Yeah,
like
so
making it so you can actually pay for it. Yeah.
yeah, we didn't want to charge a lot for tickets for B-sides, so we have to stay small. And sponsors help a lot with that. I think I don't run any of that. I'm just told this is your budget and stay within it.
So that B-sides badge, what was the budget you were given for it?
So for each badge, I had to stay under $20 in materials.
Right.
Um,
$20. So you have a
20
screen.
everything.
Wow. Okay.
Everything. Screen, PCB, assembly, battery. I mean, they all add up. And the screen itself was a good third of that cost.
Mm-hmm. because you did e-paper, which also is
Uh-huh.
super uncommon.
Flexible e-paper, which is like more money, and then the flexible PCB was another chunk. So that didn't leave very much money for everything else.
Wow, okay. That's pretty cool. Um, I am so excited to see that in person, and I'm really excited to see your mass project, actually. I'm almost as excited for the mass project because it would make me want to leave my house, but maybe that's a bad idea 'cause
Yeah, don't get your hopes up. I have a lot of failed projects, so don't get your hopes up for the mask one. That one's we'll see if it
I mean,
works.
it should be simple, right? Power,
Yeah,
voice, LED, like, how can that be hard?
right. And if the microphone never works, I can always do a night rider, right? Well, like I can always scroll back and forth on my
Yeah,
mask.
yeah.
Yeah, you can at least do that.
So, next question I have, 3D printer,
Oh yes.
is that brand new? Have you had that for a long time? Is that
No, that's the Ender 3, not
yeah,
the Pro. It's an older one. But I've made a lot of use of it recently. Um, I'm intermittent. I'm not very good at it, so I have a lot of failures. But
so
I have some wins too.
so, okay, have you ever clogged a nozzle before?
Uh huh. And
What
then,
what do I do to fix that? Because my no
you know what I do? I buy a pack of nozzles from Amazon and just replace the nozzle.
so,
I don't know.
let's see if I
That's
can
probably
find it.
not the right answer.
I tried to fix mine, and it just kept clogging after I tried to fix it, like, after, like, 10 or 15 minutes of every print, so I just bought a new nozzle too, but I've gotta go and replace it, and I'm just kind of afraid I'm gonna hurt myself as I do it. Is it hard to pull them out?
Oh no, it's just on threads. I
Okay.
typically get it warm, right? Like raise the temperature a little bit,
Mhm. Okay,
burn yourself.
cool. Not too bad. Yeah, I
So
have never had it clogged before, so this is my first, and I'm a little disappointed.
yeah, I have a lot of failures, and they're usually my fault or something I don't understand. But since we're talking about it, and you mentioned Halloween, my I'll show you my Halloween project with my 3D printer.
Okay.
I'm working on printing this. It's taking a piece at a time, but
The
I'm
man
printing them. Yes.
Mando.
So we had I had my fourth child right before coronavirus. So I have a right now I have like a little 6 month, actually not even 6 months yet, but a six
Right.
month old. So I'm gonna make him be the child with me in my Mando costume. That's the plan.
So we didn't get a good look at it. Let's see the
Oh,
mask.
well, it's not quite done. So
Right.
there's the side, there's the front. I need to I gotta print it in sections because my printer can't fit the whole thing. So
Uh-huh.
that's the mask, and then I need to, glue it and kind of clean up some of these edges and make them look nice. It'll take some work,
Are you gonna
but
paint it or
yeah, I will paint it. This will be the base. I won't have to put a primer over this because it's kind of a metal shiny color,
right?
so I won't have to primer that. I'll just put like a chrome or something paint over it
Mhm.
when after I'm all polished up. Yep,
And
working on printing that.
what's the square in the back? The back of the mask.
Oh, I don't know, and that might be another piece I need to put on there.
Okay.
I haven't quite got all the way through there. Like this is right like a week's worth of printing right here. It takes forever, but I
So
have another month or
my
two, right?
brother just got into 3D printing and started asking me some questions that made me a little uncomfortable. So I'm gonna ask you, and maybe you can answer them better.
I'm really not an expert here.
Do you print overnight?
Yes.
Do you have fear that it will catch fire?
Yes,
Have
but
have you done anything to mitigate that, or you just like gamble? Because right now I'm just gambling. Because
yeah,
who's not? I mean, when you do a long print, like you don't want to sit there and be there the
right,
whole time,
right. So I did update the firmware on my Ender 3
right?
because the initial firmware did not support particular temper sensor. It just like ignored it. So that kind of gave me some more confidence. And then I've also had prints totally screw up and like this big old goober of plastic like right there on the nozzle and the thing, and like nothing really ever happened with that other than just a big old goober.
Okay.
So I felt like if it was gonna burn down, that goober would have made it near, and it
Cool.
didn't.
Okay, cool. So that makes me feel it. He was asking me that like a couple of days ago, and I was wondering how to answer. So I just said, go buy a fire alarm and stick it next to it and hope that's good enough. But
Mm,
maybe telling
yeah,
him that a goober ball is probably not an issue. He'd probably be fine.
yeah. I don't know the right answer to that, and I do worry about that. Before I go to bed, I make sure like the base is still not moving up or anything. You know, like it's
Hmm.
not warping, because it is a concern, and I don't think I have the right answer. But that's what I do.
So the electronic stuff that you've been doing, that's a pretty recent thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mentioned to you I got an undergrad in computer engineering.
Right?
All of my professional career, I've not had to use that, and so it's just kind of like knowledge that it's withering on the vine. And when the badges kind of came into being a thing, I thought this is a great chance for me to brush off some of that stuff I learned a long, long time ago.
So now I heard you got suckered into helping with the SAINTCON badge, right?
Um, I was going to, but that kind of didn't happen.
Oh,
Mainly because the conference didn't happen.
yeah.
Plans got changed. Um, so I don't know. I don't know where that is right now. I
Well,
wait until I'm told to do something, but
yeah,
CompuKid's in charge of that.
that's pretty normal. It's too bad. I know that um they were going to do a really cool badge this year, and then COVID showed up, and now the badge is gone.
Yeah,
Did you were you involved in any of that design?
we were
Um,
working on it before. CompuKid Mike did all the design, hardware design stuff,
hmm.
and Sodium also helped on that as well. I was more to be software, and so I started playing with some things, but I didn't get too far along before they got shut down.
Okay,
And I had a lot.
so I know a little bit about the one that's coming now, and the one that he's doing this year because he's doing one, but I've given it a nickname. I'm calling it a Christmas ornament.
I can see that. I get that too.
I
I get
don't
that
want to
too.
spoil it for anyone, but so I'm not gonna say more than that. But I'm
Okay.
calling it a Christmas ornament, and my goal is after SaintCon is to hang it on my Christmas tree and find a way to power it nonstop.
You might want to look into a fire extinguisher for that option as well.
Yeah. Um, but last year's, or the one that was to be this year, maybe postponed to next year. I'm not sure,
I
but
have no idea.
I know nothing about that one. And I want to ask you a question. Maybe you can tell me. Are you doing NFC on it? So
I'm not at
last year.
liberty to answer that question. I feel like I'm a guest on this project, and I don't want to offend anyone.
Oof, okay. All right. Because last year I did that NFC village at SAINTCON. So much fun playing with NFC stuff, and that's probably another reason why I was super excited about your B-sides badge, is because I heard
Yeah,
it had some NFC stuff, and
it does. It does have NFC,
I
and
want,
so you will have to play with NFC to complete all the challenges on it. I, I, I'm really excited for people to get their hands on it and see if they actually like it. If it's because I did kind of go a slightly different route than the
right?
last year before, so we'll see. I want people to play with it though. It's been kind of a pain for me to know that they're sitting in a box, like a project I worked on, so long ago, just sitting there gathering dust and
Hmm.
rusting or something. I don't, probably not rusting, but
The NFC stuff really fascinates me. I was paying attention to there's this DEF CON badge that it almost looked official by the villages. That one of the villages were doing, that you go around to the different villages and the badge has NFC and you like tap at the different villages and it like levels up your badge as you go and explore the areas throughout the conference. I just think that
uh-huh.
NFC is such a cool thing to play with.
Yeah, yeah. I On the B sides badge, the intent was I would there was at least there was 5 different places you had to find and tap your badge to.
Oh, and you can't
That's
really do
not
that
going to
now.
happen. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So when we hand out the badges, I'll probably have to say you're going to have to pretend tap this NFC message to your badge
Okay,
when you get to that particular
how
challenge.
hard is it to reflash all your badges?
It's not hard.
What
That's a
if
lot of badges.
what if we take it and we do it? Can users reflash it themselves
Yeah, anybody could, I guess, if you
without?
just have the source code.
Do you have to have any special hardware, or can you just
You
plug
need
it
an
into your
STD.
laptop? ST-Link. Okay, well that makes it more complicated. I was saying it would be a cool idea if we took those locations and made them like AR like locations, and we just like do 2 or 3 spots, and one in
around.
northern Utah, one down in St. George, one in the Utah County, one in Salt Lake. Like, that'd be kind of cool if we set up some stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know, maybe that conflicts
wouldn't
with
be against
whatever
that.
idea
No,
that you guys are going to release with
no,
your badge later down the road.
no. It might be a good idea. I got nothing against that. We just have to throw the little sensors that we were gonna have in the B-sides conference, different places around. But as long as you've got power, they should be fine. Nobody steals
Hmm.
them.
Okay, so
I don't want to make people paying like you have to drive the whole state to drive, to get the badge. I don't want to be mean.
I was hoping. So these are actually powered sensors. I was hoping they're actually like just boring NFC stickers that you just stick on the wall.
Yeah, in this
We could just
case,
graffiti them all over the place.
the badge is passive, and they're the active
Oh,
component.
okay. That's a little more complicated. Oh well, fun idea,
Yeah, yeah.
but
NFC is really fun. I'm sure there's a lot of fun things you can do with it in badges. I don't think we've seen the end of it by far.
no. So cross my fingers. Maybe next year you guys do something with NFC with the SAINTCON badge. I'm gonna hope because I hope to break it.
I'm sure
so
you can.
so you haven't done this this badge stuff for. I mean, it's not your career. It's not what you do. So um honestly, I mean, I know a little bit because I mean, we used to work together at Adobe, but since you got pulled off that Adobe project, no longer doing red team with them, right?
Mhm.
What have you been up to? I know you're wearing your shirt that says Stage 2 on it. That's where you currently work.
Yeah, yeah. I work at
Represent,
Stage
right?
Two. Yep, yep. We had a I don't know, like sign a splash or something. Yeah. So I do. I'm the lead developer for Voodoo. I don't want to turn this into like a sales pitch, but Voodoo is our red team toolkit, right?
Did you come up with the idea yourself to build it, or was
Yeah.
that your boss?
Um, yeah. No, I it was actually out of frustration with some of the other tools that are out there, right? Like when we were doing red team stuff at Adobe, and we're using like Empire, and it's calling back, and then all of a sudden, like weeks later, it just stops and it breaks. And it's really
Ah,
frustrating to lose your access because your tools don't work.
and you worked so hard to get it, and maybe the hole's closed now, and
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And so that's it's really defeating when when you lose because of your own tools. And so that was like one of the driving factors. And then I used to work at Symantec/Blue Coat as a malware researcher, and I'd love to take apart malware. And when I'm taking
hmm
it apart, I'm like, ooh, that's a cool idea. And so I just like shelf that, like, oh, use this technique. Got it, got it. Like I had all these like things I'd seen, what works, what doesn't work. And so one time we were just kind of joking. It's like I could write something better than that, and that just kind of blossomed into what we have now.
that's really
So
cool. So you
yeah,
kind of get to work on this project that, I mean, is something that obviously seems very interesting to you, or and then get to continue with that.
yeah, yeah. And I get to experiment with it. So like just recently, when we released support for ARM devices, and so
Okay,
like
hang on.
Voodoo
Um,
will run on iOS or it'll run on Android, and that's really cool.
I've got to show. I want to see. Um, I just bought the coolest little arm device. I'm gonna be right back. Hang on. I'm
All right.
gonna pause. Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Um, I just got this stupid phone, right? And it
Okay.
runs straight up Linux, but it's an ARM
Mhm.
chip.
Okay.
So you can run your stuff on like this phone or even my normal Android phone, right?
Probably. What is it? An ARM 64? ARM? Either one of those, you should be able to do. Um, if
Ooh,
it's running like a full Linux kernel and not like some
yeah. So
Ucubix mess up.
so it's what it is it's the Pine phone. Um,
Oh, okay,
and it runs. Oh, it's an ARM Cortex A53 64-bit SoC is what they wrote.
okay. Yeah, there's a good chance. maybe after this we can toy with it a little bit.
I
Do you
mean,
have a shell on it?
nobody's gonna run this phone, right? But
Do you
because
have a shell on it already, or
yeah, no, so it comes pre-built with like you
terminal
just
right
click a
there?
terminal and you have pseudo access to it.
Oh, okay. And it has internet, right? I'm
Yeah,
assuming it's
yep,
got internet. Yeah. We'll
yeah.
have to try this after this interview. We'll try something.
Interview, chat, whatever. But yeah,
Whatever.
so so that's pretty cool. Not so I know that I've played with like Cobalt Strike and a few other things, and they don't hit those other platforms. Is it hard to develop for ARM and make something work within those environments? Like
It's not so hard.
how would you even put it on a phone? Do they have to install an app or?
No, if it depends. So we're assuming that you have code execution, right? This isn't an exploit toolkit. It's a
Mm-hmm.
post exploitation. So if you have code execution of some sort of way to run a command, that's where we could pick up and go from there.
Okay.
So if you can run a command on the terminal, that works. That's the easiest. But usually in an op, you're talking like a web shell or some kind of app vulnerability where you can execute something,
eh,
and that's how Ruby
Do you
detects it.
have much access on say a phone? Like say you pop an app or something and you're stuck within the rights of that specific user's app. Is it pretty
Hmm.
hard to work within
Yeah,
there or?
yeah, you're very well. I mean, iOS and Android both, they gel you very strongly.
Hmm.
So you would have to have some kind of rootkit escape,
So you
or
want
the
it?
phone already be rooted. Yeah,
Wow. So
that's
I
typically
assume
not the main use case for Voodoo, but it's one of those really cool use case
that's why I
ideas.
want to talk about it because it's interesting to me. So I assume with your development to test it, you just get a phone that has root on it or is jailbroken, and you just run your thing on it and see what you can
Mhm.
do.
Yep, yep,
Do you try
yep.
any cool things you could
Usually
do?
pick on someone. Bryce has got plenty of devices, so I've got screenshots. It's like Bryce's iPad, and they're like, I've got console on it. It's kind of fun.
You just put a put a Rickroll on it nonstop. You can't get out until he reboots the thing.
Do a little trolling, of course. That comes with the territory.
I almost want to install it on my phone and see what what you could pick up.
It would be. We haven't done a lot of features, but it would. I mean, there's a lot of cool things you can do, right? Like, yeah, yeah. There's a lot of cool things that you could do.
Hmm.
You could, as soon as you detect like a button press, you can take a picture to get a good picture of the person's face because you're assuming if they're pressing a button, they're staring at their device.
Yeah, I mean,
Things like that.
unless you're parsing it with your arms held out, you're.
Right, right. You got a good view of yourself or whoever's phone it is. Yeah.
That's pretty interesting.
I don't know. I could come up with a lot of ideas, but like most things, most of my ideas are probably not good ideas. And I usually don't realize that until after I act on
Still fun. Have you played with any cool things you can do on the Android devices once you have root and it's not yours?
them. I really haven't.
Like
For
pulling
me, it's
creds
getting.
or trying to get in like anything like that?
Yeah, no, I haven't really. For me, it was mainly just like, okay, I got it to compile and it runs just fine in memory. We're good. Like I kind of walk away at that point.
Was it persistent? So if you rebooted your phone, would it still be there?
No, I wasn't persistent.
Okay.
I haven't really pursued that either. I'm sure there's things we could do there to be persistent, but
Hmm. I would be interested in seeing your tool chain and how you compile something for those environments. Is it
yeah.
is it pretty difficult?
Um, I don't think it's that bad. I mean, how much do you like make files? I don't like make files. That's the worst part, right?
I
But
the best I can do is CMake, man.
if you if you're designing with the intent to like when you start, I know I'm going to try to be cross-platform, so I'm going to try to I'm going to try to stay POSIX as much as I can, and then very closely if def the things that aren't POSIX from the
Hmm.
get-go. Then I think that makes it easier. But a lot of these tools were Windows first, and then all the other stuff is an afterthought. Like, oh yeah, well, good luck importing this Windows binary to a POSIX or Linux machine because
Right.
you're using those Windows APIs that just don't exist anywhere else.
And you actually have to do all the work to figure it out, right? All right, that's pretty cool. You still doing that, or um,
Yeah, I do that. I do a little bit of toying with other vulnerability, or looking for other vulnerabilities and things. I help on other pen tests as time permits or they need me. I just kind of float, I guess. I'm the floater of the team,
do
the
you?
garbage man, where nobody else does it, he can do it.
So before you came to S2, you were doing blue coat stuff, right?
Yes,
So do
yes,
you like? Would you ever go back doing malware research? Still, like,
yes.
there's a point in my there's a part of my soul that says malware research sounds like so much fun, but at the same time, I think it's kind of like the scary dark hole that I don't know if I could ever get into.
Oh, it is a lot of fun, and I feel that often that like someday I know I'll just end up back in malware research or threat research.
Right?
For me, it was I loved following these different actors and like why are they targeting this? What is their new technique? How they've evolved over like it's just so cool to watch these parties as an outside observer.
Yeah.
And like this guy's spying on this guy, and this guy hacked this guy to spy on this guy. It's really cool stuff. I mean, I guess it's not. It's kind of morbid because like these guys are like hacking each other for like government secrets and stuff, and I'm just kind of here eating my popcorn, watching. Like maybe I should feel differently about it, but it's just so cool to me
Oh, jeez.
to
Do
follow
you have
along
any
and watch.
like cool war stories, like things that you've seen, or because I mean you're
Um,
talking about these things like these people I don't get to see that. How do you see that? Like, do you just see it in the tools that they write, or
So for when I was at Blue Coat,
yeah,
well, our main source of data was the proxy logs, right? Like people, like we get to see an anomaly, anomalous, like when you anomalous. I don't, what's that word? When you don't know who it is,
I
it's
know what you
been
mean, anonymized.
thank you. I can't pronounce that word today. So we get data back, and and you'd see like the URL and kind of maybe where they were headed, but you couldn't
Hmm.
see like any payload or things. But we'd also would be able to get like malware samples or like, oh, we could see that this was downloaded, and then after this download, then you'd see this beaconing pattern of this URL going out, right?
Right,
And then so you'd get kind of this data, and then you could go back to that original DLL or that original URL and download the DLL or executable and then reverse it and be like, okay, that's what this tool does, right? This one might be ransomware and it's encrypting everything, or this one is looking in this very specific folder for a file named X. Like that's very, very specific. What is this? So you go look at that and like, oh, like that's a CAD file. For some reason, they're looking for CAD drawings from this target. Like this malware must have been very specifically designed for this target because it's looking for a very specific file.
right.
For
Huh.
example, we looked at the Sony malware, and it was hard coded with SMB paths and username and passwords that belonged to Sony. Like it was made custom for them, and it was using information that they had gleaned from either a past operation or other things. That kind of stuff's cool to me.
Hmm.
My favorite story is still the Inception guys. I've told that one many times, and it's a little old, but it's a fun story. I won't retell it here. Just go
Yeah, yeah.
look it up. It's a fun story.
Okay, I want to look this up. I'm not gonna watch it, but how do I look it up?
Let's
'Cause
see. Where would I gave the talk at B sides SLC. I give it at RSA, but they don't share them.
besides
But
SLC, was it this year or?
no, it was many many years ago. I would say proof 5 years ago, maybe
Ooh, okay.
6 years ago.
What is there like a? I'll just look
Look
at.
at the Inception framework.
Okay,
Um, a colleague from Blue Coat and I get that snorted.
Inception framework, way long range, B
That
sides,
might be enough to find it.
B sides. Okay.
Anything?
Um, the Inception Cloud Framework based
Yep,
attack by Waylon Grange. Yeah.
that's the talk. That
It,
was a lot of fun to research those guys, and I try to convey that in the talk.
okay, cool. Um, I'm gonna look at this later. I'm not gonna look at this right now, but
Yeah, yeah.
awesome. That seems super cool. Cool. All right. pretty cool. Yeah, someday I kind of I think maybe I'll get there, maybe I won't. I don't know. But
Uh, it's a lot of fun, and I know, like, so I guess I'm going to lead into this one way or another. Um, Reverse engineering is like one of the key skills for this. Um, I definitely recommend you practice reverse engineering. And it just so happens that FireEye is doing their Flare on reverse engineering competition in like a week or two.
yeah.
That starts, I think, in a week or two. If you're up for some pain and you want to learn, that's the perfect opportunity. They write, so the whole challenge is, right, like you you're given a piece of malware. It's been made by them, but it's made to resemble malware, and you have to find a flag in it
Hmm.
by reverse engineering. And they start out fairly easy and get extremely difficult by the last one. It's a really fun competition. I know you're a CTF guy, so I
I
think you'd
love
really
it.
enjoy it.
Okay,
I'm at the
flare
point.
on.
Yep,
I've
I'm at the
I've
point
seen
where,
it
like,
before, but I've never actually done it.
yeah, they've done it since, I think, 6 years now.
Yeah.
I've only participated in 3 of them because I try to avoid it because I know as soon as I start, like, I have to take it to finish. I can't set it down, and I just realize, like, I know my family life suffers. Like, I'm sorry, I'm doing the failure on challenges for the next week and a half. I'm just like gone, and
Worse
I
than
don't have
DEF
that kind of
CON. This is way more important.
time. Yeah, DEF CON's one that's, I guess I got to choose my battles, and the DEF CON's one I choose every year, and I don't choose the flare on challenge, but
Speaking of
yeah.
DEF CON, last year we were playing with that DEF CON badge. That was so much fun. That was probably
That
the
was another one. I had set out months in advance, like, I'm not going to play with the badge this year. I'm not going to do it. And then, like, months before, I'm like, ooh, he's using this chip. I bet I can. And then, like, next thing I know, I'm there and I'm with you and we're taking it apart.
it was
Yeah, I
so
can talk
much
about
fun.
it
That
all
was
week.
such a blast.
It was a lot of fun.
We were were we the first group that solved it? I don't remember. It was really
There
hard
may
to
have been
tell.
another group. I was the first one that I ran into. It didn't really matter in the end who was first because they were
Yeah.
like posted the source code anyways. But
Yeah. But that was a stinking blast. I do remember playing with that. That took like two. It was we pretty much had it finished in like 2 days, right?
yeah,
That
yeah, I think
Friday.
so.
That was kind of nice because I didn't spend the whole DEF CON doing it, but still enough
I
to
agree.
feel super accomplished
Hmm. Yeah, I spent all of DEF CON on the year before badge trying to solve it.
with the little people and moving them
Yeah,
through the
trying to
different
solve the
sections.
unsolvable badge. Yes, it ate up all of my DEF CON.
And oh geez, and the story behind that one where it was you nobody could even solve it. Like that's too bad.
Yeah,
Maybe next year they'll have a cool one that's actually crackable.
yeah.
Cause
This is the off year, right?
right, no, and they just did a little cassette tape. So for 2020 cassette tape, 2021, who knows what it'll be? Probably something
Yeah.
blinky.
Yeah. No, those are always fun. Always a sucker for capture the flags.
So
That's how we met, right?
so
I don't
speaking
know.
of capture flags, the way that I met you was trying to beat you at a capture flag at the SAINTCON. You remember that?
I remember SAINTCON's hacker challenge for sure. Many years.
So and you eventually won the black. That was the year you won the black badge, wasn't it?
Okay.
I think I don't remember which year did you win the CTF the hackers challenge.
Um. I think it was the first year in Provo. Does that sound right?
So the hangout room was that like on one of the side rooms?
There was couches. I
Yep,
remember.
little. It was like a little small room with little couches.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yeah, that was the
Yes.
year. Yeah, I remember
Okay.
that. And I remember
I don't know
that.
how you designate that different than any other year. Isn't there
Uh,
couches in there every year?
no, there's not.
Okay.
They change it up every time. But for example, like last year they had the couches in the big main area,
Mm.
instead of in that side room. Like they seem to use it for different things every time though. I don't know
Okay.
why, but
Yep. It took me 3 years to get that. I wanted that so bad. Sorry, I had to
no, it was
plow through
so
the other
cool.
year. It's a good challenge. And the 2 years before that, I got sniped by Scotty. Like sitting there at the end thinking, oh, I got this, I got this, I got this. And then here comes Scotty with some challenge that nobody else can figure out. And he's just like, this is mine. And I solves that one puzzle and knocks it all out. Every time. Ugh.
uh, it's like that anger, you just feel it boiling.
Yeah. No, I'm a sucker for capture the flag competitions.
So, with capture flag challenges, what challenges do you like the most? Like, I assume that there's some that you're the best at, some you're the worst at. Me personally, I love the forensic stuff just because it's so much fun. I like digging through that. But what categories do you like the most?
Reverse engineering is my category.
Yeah.
I enjoy them, and when I see a good set of reverse engineering puzzles there, I typically feel like inside kind of celebrating, like I got these, I got these. These are free points for me.
Well, because I mean, I'm gonna be honest, in our area there aren't many people that are as good as you are at reverse engineering.
Yes.
Like, do you remember that challenge you wrote last year? That reverse engineering challenge? Windows
Which one?
binary
I
had a
write
bunch.
one every year. Which one are you? Can you tell me details on it?
I don't remember any details other than there were a lot of red herrings that you built into it, like, and a lot of protections built into the binary to keep you from reverse engineering it.
Oh yes, yes. Typically, was it a Linux or a Mac or a
It
Windows
was a
binary?
Windows binary.
Oh, yep,
Yep.
yep. I did do one like that. Most of the reverse engineering challenges that I write are based on tricks I've seen in malware. So
Uh-huh.
things I've seen them try to do to stop reversers. And I think in that particular binary, I took like 14 tricks I've seen and shoved them all in one binary. It was like, good luck, suckers.
I remember spending hours and hours, and I got like so far and then got stuck, and I've still haven't been able to solve it. But I have it saved on my hard drive, and like every few months I'll spend 10 to 15 minutes to like 2 hours, and I'll try and play with it again and get stuck and be like, screw this binary, and I'll put it back on in the folder and not look at it for a while.
I I really think you should try the Flare On challenge. I think their binaries are like they're wonderful. They're wonderful challenges. They're good puzzles.
Hmm.
Uh, they're not like so. The thing about capture flags I hate is when you get to a puzzle where you have to kind of guess what the author was thinking. You're like, oh, I was supposed to make that jump, right? And I don't get that with these. Or I'm Palo Alto did a challenge. Well, I'm Flare these guys, they reverse engineer enough that they write really good puzzles.
Right. So probably not. I mean, again, like you said, using things that they'd seen, like real life scenarios to do it.
Oh yeah,
I agree that those are the hardest challenges to write, but they're the best challenges to play.
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Um, hang on a second. Okay.
We close
Cool.
out. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, that was my wife asking me some questions. Um, but yeah, I love the challenges. I love how they work. They're just really hard and they take a lot of time and effort. So one day I hope to win the Hackers Challenge and get that SAINTCON black badge.
Do
But
it. Do it.
then also sometimes I get sucked into doing stuff for SAINTCON, and it's hard
Yeah.
to do this both at the same time, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I understand.
Anywho, cool, cool. I had another question for you that it's kind of been eating my soul. Um, yeah,
Okay.
I see your eyes. You're like, what is this? What are we? Um, earlier, like a couple weeks ago, we worked on this embedded platform
Uh-huh.
project, right?
Yeah.
We worked on just trying to break this device, going through the U-boot, a few other things. I just wanted to
Mm-hmm.
catch up. Like, how'd it go?
It went well. I can't really say much on it. I've entered kind of like a responsible disclosure period.
Wait,
So
okay. So so you got somewhere with it, but you can't
yes,
really.
yeah.
Okay, cool. How long do you think that responsible disclosure period is going to be? Because I really want to hear more.
Um, I'd love to tell the story once that ends. And yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll try making it a conference talk or something, or another one of these if not.
Uh-huh.
But it could be anywhere from a few weeks to 6 months. It depends on how easy it is to talk to the product owner, how quick they are to respond, and how open they are to well, talking to security researchers. Unfortunately, some companies are very confrontational when somebody's trying to present vulnerabilities to them.
Right.
They're
Okay. I mean, I'm
very
not going
offensive.
to ask about this specific situation. Is this your first time doing responsible disclosure?
Um, it is in this manner. Yes, I'm trying to contact the customer directly, and we'll see how that goes.
So instead of doing something like HackerOne or whatever, you're
Mhm,
doing that
mhm.
direct to the people who either make or sell the device, right?
Yep. Yep.
Cool. All right. So I got to be careful what I ask, but I'm going to ask you some questions about it. um, oh man, I got to, how do I phrase these things without, you know what? I just won't touch
Yeah.
it. Other
Let's
than
let that be.
congratulations, that's super cool. I'll bet it feels really, really satisfying to have gotten somewhere. You,
IoT is a lot of fun. Yeah.
I'll bet you always, I mean, at least when I look at it, you wonder how far can I get? Am I wasting my time? Am I just going to get stuck and never get anywhere? You know, and
I view it like a capture the flag where you don't even know if you're actually working on a flag, right?
right.
You're just like, I'm playing with this. I think there's something under here. I'm going to work under the assumption that there is something here, but I could be totally barking up the wrong tree.
So if somebody wanted to get started, like say they have a really stupid IoT device at their house, right? Just
Uh huh.
just this thing. They don't really they know that it probably runs Linux or some sort of firmware underneath. It connects to the internet because all IoT needs to do that. It's made from China because of course that's where the easy pickings comes from. How do you get started? Do you need to know reverse engineering?
I
Like, what
I feel like
suggestions would you
reverse
give?
engineering. Uh, this may not be what people want to hear, but I feel like reverse engineering is a skill that bleeds over into so many vulnerability research, pen testing, malware
Mhm.
analysis, forensics. It crosses so many boundaries, and I would recommend it for anybody. Now, if you want to get started, you don't obviously have to have that. Not everybody has it.
Right.
And my, yeah, my I'm not an expert here, but I would say I would actually
You're
work in
doing
reverse.
responsible disclosure.
Uh,
You're an expert.
okay.
The few
Everybody gets
people that get to do that in their lives.
I would say you find a good exploit that somebody's done, like a talk or something that like, oh, he exploited this device and that looks really cool. Go
Mhm.
find the device and follow their steps. There's something to be said about actually implementing it that you learn a lot from, right? Like, oh, the UART interface is not working. Why isn't it working? Like this guy did it, so I know it should work. Why is
Right.
it not working? Oh, I got my pins wrong, or oh, I got the wrong voltage, or oh, that my connection's not good. Like you learn all these tricks so that when you're actually trying something, you're like, okay, I did X, Y, Z. Like all the things that usually break me, I double check them. I know it's not them. Otherwise, there's just so many unknowns. I've never done this before. I'm not even sure I'm doing it right. Is this even the right pins? Like there's so many unknowns unless you've done it once or twice to get comfortable. It's a little intimidating to just jump in without tried it
Right.
before.
Yeah, that makes sense. So,
And I think a lot of my experience came from badges that I've done that I've later had to like fix. Like, oh, this interface doesn't work. I've got to like put my jumpers right on this pin and reflash it because the original method I planned to use totally I messed up. And so
right.
then I learned how to pull the RAM off of chips because I've had to do it on my own boards I had designed.
Hmm. All right. So I've never pulled any RAM off chips before, so maybe that's something I should look into as well.
Just try it and try pulling like the next SAINTCON badge you get. Pull the firmware off the chip, right? Just practice on things that.
Do you think when your B-sides bads gets released, is it locked down to the point where we can't pull that kind of stuff? Or would that
No,
be a good one to
no,
play with?
no. You could. Other than the board's really fragile and you'd have to open it up to get access to the board. But do it to the previous year,
The
or
circle
do it
one.
to the circle one, or do it to the SaintCon one
Hmm.
from last year. Um, yeah, I know some guys that did it to the SaintCon one last year, and you can get some interesting strings out of Like you can get the whole storyline out
Yeah.
of the firmware, right? Like yeah, you can find some cool stuff by just pulling it, and you learn how. Okay, I know I can pull the firmware off this model of chip now.
So I've been working. I don't. So I know that when you were working on your project, I mentioned a little bit, but I've been playing with a Chinese vacuum.
Yeah,
And I it's not my vacuum and it's not my work. I'm just following somebody else's work. But I thought it was so much fun. Like that's the thing. So once you get, root access on a machine you're not supposed to, like when if you own it, so it's yours, so you're not breaking the law or anything, but you get root on it. It's so satisfying. And it was really fun to be able to SSH into my vacuum and, and then make it make noise and drive around using SSH commands, right?
that is cool. That
Like
is way cool.
like those kinds of things, just when you're able to get that access, it's probably got to be one of the most satisfying feelings, I think, in our field, almost, is being able to
I
do that.
I still, and I'm not like a big pen tester. Like I asked the senior pen testing guys on our team, like whenever I get a shell, I get giddy, right? And I'm asking, does this go away? As you're like, oh, that's like my 500th shell, you know? And
Uh-huh.
they're like, no, it never goes away.
It
It might
never
get a
goes.
little less, but it never goes away.
You're still super stoked. So uh, honestly, I think maybe that vacuum was a good place for me to start, albeit it was a little expensive. I had to pay like $300 for this Chinese vacuum, but it's got to be one of the best things I've ever bought in my life, because I don't vacuum my kitchen or my dining room or my living room anymore. It's so convenient.
That's cool. That is cool.
I
Maybe
don't
I
know
should
if
get
I don't know if you've ever bought one of those robotic vacuums. Do you have
one.
hardwood floor anywhere?
We have some.
Personally, I would suggest buying one.
Our hardwood floor at this moment probably needs to be swept. So
It
maybe.
mostly because it's been good at making me pick up after myself every day, because otherwise it gets clogged. And but I set it to run. Mine's running now every night, right after I go to bed, because I now that I have root, I hooked it into my home automation system. So when I go to bed, it waits for 30 minutes and it sends a command to the robot and makes it go,
That is way
when
cool.
instead of having to talk to the Chinese cloud and have them have an entire map of my whole house, and
Yeah.
that'd be
Yeah.
kind of
That's good to
creepy.
have it in house rather than on
Wh-
some cloud server
One of the
somewhere.
one of the interesting things that I saw when digging through their firmware was that they log everything. Everything gets logged, including like your Wi-Fi password. And then
Mm,
all of the logs get uploaded to their cloud somewhere. So somewhere in China there is a dump with logs that contain everybody's Wi-Fi username and passwords who owns these little robots, except for mine because I never gave it to him.
good call.
But
Yeah.
that's
That's kind of
scary.
interesting. It is scary. I think about the same thing with like the doorbell cameras,
Yeah.
right? Their geolocation and all that. But
It kind of makes me not want to buy it, but at the same time, it's so convenient to not have to vacuum my house. Do you ever have any issues? Like, do you use Google Homes or anything like that?
I am conflicted there. I don't know. I'm with you. I'm like, I love the technology aspect of it, hate the security aspect of it. I have plugged them in at my house. I don't know that I have anything right now,
Well, I'll tell
but
you right now, I can reach out and I have one right here. Uh,
oh, I thought you were going to reach out and see if I had one. Let me just check real quick on the
so
internet.
I just have one. It's listening to me nonstop, and I sometimes worry that I've made a huge mistake. But it's so convenient, and I wonder if I'm gonna suffer for that later down the road, or if not.
I don't know. We can all make mistakes. It's not going to cost you.
We can all make mistakes.
I mean, if that is a mistake, you and how many hundred thousands others have done the same thing.
Right? I don't know. It's such a hard line to walk, that convenience versus the privacy. And and all of that, or whether the privacy really is a concern, or if it's not, or if it's I've sometimes like you hear that sometimes they have people like reviewing your voice logs every once in a while. I wonder if does anyone really care? Like who cares? But at the same time,
Yeah.
maybe they hear stuff that I don't want them to hear, and that could be weird.
Yeah, I mean, I highly doubt somebody's actually like listening to Mike 24/7, but it's all recorded, so it's all there.
Yeah. All right, I just unplugged it.
I don't know.
Um,
I don't know.
that's
That's
what
not my area.
that's one of those things I'd like to learn because it's not my area either, but it's something that I have just decided not to. I've ignored it honestly and hope that it's been okay. Okay, so my wife is bugging me. I guess I
Okay.
gotta go do something. So I had so much fun talking with you, Waylon.
Yes.
Like it was really cool to hear some of the stories, and I'm really waiting to hear about uh this
Thing.
IoT device thing, and I hope that I don't have to wait till SAINTCON to hear it next year.
Yeah. Me too.
but
Me too.
but maybe. But it was really cool to catch up. Before I go, is there anything that you want to plug to people? Anything you want to talk about? Um, Anything we
I
missed? I mean, I've still got 10
oh,
minutes if we want to chat more.
yeah, yeah. If you've got 2 minutes, you mentioned this in one of your other videos, so I have to show this to you. I'm not
Okay.
trying to sell it personally, but this is the soldering iron that I enjoy. This is the TS80P.
Yeah.
So it's very close to yours, but this
Battery power, right?
no, 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 no. It's the 80p. It's the eight. No, I have to make sure it's not the 80, the 80p, because that's where they change. This is USB-C,
Uh-huh.
and it'll use the current standard. So I can unplug my iPhone or my laptop charger and plug it in my soldering iron, and I'm good to go. Right? Like I can just like it's heating up right now, and ouch, I burned myself on. It's already hot. But yeah, I love this thing. It's got a metal frame. It's not plastic. You can see the smoke coming off there. I'm gonna
Maybe
unplug it.
unplug it.
Yeah, yeah. Now just make sure I set it somewhere carefully. But I love this thing. It's tiny and it was worth it.
How much do you
So
spend on that? Maybe I ought to
yeah,
switch
it's
because
it's a it's 100. It's a good bit of money. But the company's very responsive. They're great to support. I really like it.
so why the 80p versus just the 80 to TS80?
I'm gonna say things that I don't quite remember, but basically they opted for as the 80 was a certain USB 3 protocol that is
Uh-huh.
not now the standard, and so like it's like some I don't remember it, like Q
It
something.
was the
And
quick
so
charge stuff.
yeah, yeah, and that's not what everybody decided to go with, and so you had to have a special adapter, a plug that spoke the Q, but the
Hmm.
P uses the same high power protocol that like your Mac does, like most
Power
devices.
delivery, right? The
Yeah,
power
the PD.
delivery
Yeah, yeah,
stuff.
yeah. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. So the P uses the power delivery protocol, where just the regular 80 uses the Q quick
The
protocol.
QC, the quick charge.
QC.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I know
that's
that most stuff now use power delivery, but the quick charge is not as common anymore. Cool. Good to know. I didn't know that there was a new version of it, so maybe
yeah.
that's
I
the one
think
I
it came
should
out
be
like a few
buying.
months ago.
TS80P by this one. Okay, I just took a note of that so I didn't forget. Because I mean, I like this, but it's not as portable. I have to carry around that huge power cable, which sucks, but it's a lot smaller than, carrying around your big old soldering iron kit.
Right. And if I'm already carrying my laptop charger around, like that's just one less item I have to carry.
Hmm, that's true.
Same dual purpose. Like that sold me right there. I can't plug it into my Mac and have it power through my Mac. My Mac just will not give it that much power.
It's like,
But
no, 19 volts? No.
yeah, like yeah, no, no, I'll keep my own battery. Thank you.
But all right, cool beans. All right. Um,
Yeah,
Good to
I got
know.
no affiliation with them. I just thought I'd share that.
Yeah. Anything else?
I mean, we could talk all day, but you gotta go, so
Yeah,
I'll let
all
you
right.
go. You're probably
Maybe we
bored.
could do this again another time. Thanks, Waylon. It was nice chatting with you today.
Thank you.